You know, folks, I enjoy the change of seasons. I love winter becoming spring. It means different things to me. It means, say, the beginning of the baseball season. Years ago, I used to catch a little bit. I say a little bit because I wasn't much of a hitter. That's why I didn't catch very much. I'd watch a game with my nieces and nephews. In different parishes, I'd maybe stop by and watch a baseball or softball game with our high school kids. And I remember watching a game on TV once, and Tim McCarver was doing the voice for the network. Makes me remember him. He used to catch back with the Mets and the Phillies and Cardinals. And he knew a lot about the game, and you always learned a lot listening to him. But boy, I thought he talked just a little too much. Well, I'd turn the sound down and just watch the game for a while. Well, he's telling this story once about maybe this one pitcher who really went on to great renown that he caught. A guy named Bob Gibson, makes me remember him. Big right-hander for the Cardinals back in the 60s and 70s. He's in the Hall of Fame now. His image is in Cooperstown. And he was a very talented pitcher, but more than that, he was a very driven competitor. Even if he wasn't pitching well that day, he always tried to find a way to beat you. Well, one hot and humid day, and there were many hot and humid days in St. Louis, McCarver trudges out to the mound because Gibson doesn't have it that day. And he says, "Hey, Bob, you tired?" And Gibson put his hands on his hip and said, "McCarver, how dare you talk to me about my pitching? You can't hit at all. You know nothing about pitching. You can't hit a thing. Get back behind the plate, put your glove down, I'll hit it for the rest of the afternoon." And he toughened up and he finished the game and he won. You know, you might not know much about baseball. I talked to my mother. She watches 5 minutes of the World Series every year to say she watched it. They tell me the Kentucky Derby is coming this week. If you watch 5 minutes of that, you've seen the whole race. My mom gets just a little taste, just so she can talk to my nephews, her grandsons. Well, for her, baseball doesn't know much about it, but she does know the old song there, 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. She knows that. I love the change of seasons. I love Lent becoming Holy Week and Easter. I love the coming of the Easter season for days like today, the readings we have. To me, it's the most important season of the year, and many of you have told me much the same thing. Birth of Christ, important. Dying and rising of Christ, very important. Center of our faith. Hey, folks, remember Good Friday? Good Friday, the Passion reading, our gospel that night from John. Peter's warming by the fire, and someone says to him, "You're one of his disciples, aren't you?" "No." Strike one. One of the slaves, one of the high priests came by. "Didn't I see you in the garden with him?" "Oh, no." Strike two. Another man asked, "You have a Galilean accent, don't you? Aren't you one of them? Don't you know him?" "No." Hey, folks, say it. Strike three. You're out. You're out of there. Well, Jesus dies. Jesus rises. We heard the gospel last week. The disciples are hiding from the people who crucified Jesus. They don't want the same fate themselves. He appears to them in a locked room where they are hiding. Jesus' first words, "Peace be with you." If it had been me, "Peace be with you." But not you, Peter. You denied me 3 times. You're out of here. Not speaking to you. You're not my friend. You're not my disciple. I won't let you do that to me again or anybody else again. Get out. How many times have you heard someone say something like that to you? How many times have maybe you said something like that to someone else? Gotta admit, maybe we've all been there at one time or another. The more I reflect on the exchanges we hear about in today's gospel, I'm sure that this isn't just a story about Peter and Jesus. You can see yourself in this. Whether it's giving and receiving, the gospel story is about us striking out against each other. You're out of here. We're all out of here. How does that make you feel? Today's gospel speaks to the power of forgiveness. Jesus looks at Peter. 3 strikes? There's more to it than that. Jesus sees in Peter this very human combination of best efforts and lots of mistakes, with Peter underlying lots of mistakes. There's successes and failures. There's great moments and shortcomings. We all say things we regret. We all make mistakes. We all do. Rather than hold on to these like grudges, Jesus forgives. Did you hear Peter say he was going fishing? Peter was walking away. Jesus brought him back. Feed my lambs. Feed my sheep. Follow me. All this hinged on the power of forgiveness. The power of this moment between Jesus and Peter. Do you remember the first reading? Peter goes on to become this tremendous evangelizer and teacher. He dies witnessing to Jesus. He is the rock upon whom Jesus builds the church. We're going to hear that in reading soon. It's powerful witnessing that Peter does on behalf of Jesus. So for all of us to hear. Now, how do we apply a moment like this? Well, think about the times, the moments when we've had words with someone else. And that's strike one, buddy. Strike two. Know the old phrase, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on me too. Strike three, I've had enough. That's it. No more. Maybe it's been a long time since that moment happened. Maybe that wound is all scabbed over. Think about the power of forgiveness. Does it give you the courage or the insight maybe to pick up the phone and call someone? Now, you know how call screening is these days. Someone might recognize your number or my number and say, I'm not picking that up. Are you ready to say a few kind words into the recording? I was thinking about you at Mass today. I was driving down by the river and just enjoyed the beauty of the day. I was thinking about you. Hope you're well. Hey, let's talk later, okay? Something simple and easy like that. The gospel is not about Peter striking out with Jesus. It's about how we strike out with each other, with our words and our actions. About following Jesus' example. He invites us to follow. It's not always easy as 1, 2, 3. It can be hard. But following Jesus' example with some heart and some courage, and you know, folks, you'll love the change of that season too.